great Turkish rabbi. His name was Rabbi Yehudah Benevisti Z'tl. Was a great darshan in Izmir in Turkey, respectively. He was part of the great rabbinic dynasty of the Benevisti family, a great rabbi during the 19th century, especially the earlier part in itself, the early 1800s, and he would become the great author of the Torah book called the Tosha Yaaודה, great Torah book in itself. And they came from great rabbinic auspices. His father's name was Rav Kalev, and he would actually learn Torah under his auspices and will also be brought up, I believe, under the auspices of his grandfather, Rabbi Reuven Avram Hora'ah, actually would write quotes within regards to the greatness of, let's say, the relationship between Rav Yehuda and his grandfather, within regards to the greatness of Torah, how it's imbued from generation to generation within regards to them. And much more can be said to that. Hopefully we will speak about that in a separate class. I believe his grandparents at one stage in time would actually move to Jerusalem, and then at that stage in time he would study with Rabbi Raphael Yosef Hazan, who happened to be a very great rabbi, a halachic arbitrator, one of the greatest sages of Izmir, and he would also go to Hebron and Jerusalem respectively and be part of the Rishon LeZion Jewish community in of itself, who would serve as a Rishon LeZion, as a chief rabbi in his time. That was one of the rabbis he would learn from. Also another great rabbi who would learn under the auspices of Rabbi Raphael Ashkenazi, another great rabbi in his time. And I believe he got married, I believe his wife's name was Rabbanit Tzona. I believe she was the daughter of Rav David Amado, another great rabbi we spoke about on various occasions before. I think we actually recorded a video with in regards to the great Rav Amado in himself. He was a Dayan, judge, a posek, and a shliach tzibur, and the Rosh Yeshiva, all in Izmir, and they had various other, let's say, prestigious positions in of itself. In Izmir, he will become a Rav over there and take on various different responsibilities. And I believe he was a member of the Bet Din Tzedek in Izmir, together with other great rabbis, including Rabbi Yoshua Shlomo Ardit. He happened to be himself a Talmudic commentator and great rabbi in Izmir and the various surrounding villages and the towns in of itself. Later on, he will be appointed as the head of a Jewish court, naturally called that Av Bet Din, as we've stated on many occasions before, which was a very, very prominent position in Migdalim, if I'm not mistaken, of Dardanel in of itself. And over there he would have the nickname, I believe, Kol HaChabib, I hope I pronounce it correctly. And it was really considered, like, let's say, Aluf Magdial, really, really great rabbi in of itself. And we've spoken about many of the rabbis from the Benevisti family, how much of an impression and how much of greatness they actually impacted in the areas in of itself. He would really, really strengthen the community in Izmir to a great level in of itself. I believe also, just as a tidbit, we hear that I think there was a custom in Magdali, which was a similar custom to in Izmir, not to eat legumes on Passover, which just as an extra thing in of itself. He was a Torah colleague also of the famous Rabbi Bechor Yaakov Yavetz, another great rabbi, was another one of the famous, let's say, teachers, educators of Torah in Izmir, and also would also become later on rabbi in Jerusalem. He was the author of the book called the Tzur Yaakov, and which was a book I think we've mentioned about on various occasions before. I believe after he passed away, various other rabbis would actually give him a very, very great eulogy, I think including Rabbi Chaim Pelagi, arguably one of the greatest Turkey rabbis in Jewish history, and Rabbi Nisim Chaim Moshe Modai, another great rabbi. I believe one of his students was Rabbi Yehudah Rabbi, who was another great rabbi, and he passed away, Rabbi Benevisti did. I believe it was in the English year 1840, in Yud Dalet Shvat, naturally. He passed away at that point in time. Now, among his, let's just say, his grandchildren included his grandson, Rabbi Chaim Yehuda Eliezer, who was a great posek of Izmir and was the author of a Torah work called the Simchat Ya'ada. I think he was cousins with Rabbi Chaim Yehuda Abraham, another great rabbi. He happened to be himself the author of the Torah philosophical work called the Sefer Akit V'Rosh. And I think his son, Rabbi Ben Zion, was a great rabbi, head of Jewish court in the city of Magdalim, Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Yosef, and I think his son was Rabbi Ben Zion, was really, really a great rabbi, and descendants became really great rabbanim. And let's explore some of the works, the Torah works he wrote in of itself. And among the works he authored included Tosha Yooda, which was printed in Izmir in the year Tafresh Yud Tet, which was based on drushim, various different sermons, let's just say in of itself, on the Shabbat Shuvah, if I'm not mistaken, and he would give 4 grand Jewish sermons of the Shabbat Halbasha, for example, 5 sermons on Shabbat Zachor, 4 on Shabbat HaGadol, different main Shabbats of the year. I believe also on Shabbat Kala, which is obviously naturally before the festival Shavuot, and 5 sermons with regards to Nisu'in, and various other sermons in of itself. I think maybe some of them was actually came from his grandfather, and so on, and his father, so on and so forth. Another great Torah book was Zachat Davar, which was printed in Saloniki in the year Tafresh Chaf Gimel, and it was various different laws, let's just say, between the 4 sections of the Torah, respectively. I think it was done orchestrated in Aleph Bet order, like alphabetical order. Then there was a Kerek Gadol, Ubo Shut, She'elot and Shuvot, questions and answer books, which was a Torah composition authorship on the Rambam, on the 4 Turim, Arba Turim, respectively. Also, I'm not too sure if that itself, respectively, was printed or not, but he was one of the great rabbis of his time, without a doubt, and passed away in 1840. We're talking about 185 years ago, from the time of recording over here. And I think we also related over another video of another Rabbi Benevisti recently, and which we have to point out also. Most people say he passed away in the year 1840, but it's not necessarily totally 100% precise. There's different opinions also. They commemorate him, it's reported over, according to one section, on the 14th of Shvat, because one of his books was actually published on that date. So I would like to have some clarity within regards to that. Now, just to also, Rabbi Benevisti would serve after him as head of the court in the city of Magdala in Dardanelle. And also Rabbi Chacham Yitzchak Benevisti would also become a prominent rabbi in his time in of itself. So please don't forget to light candles in his memory. We're assuming it's on Yud Dalet Shvat, but I've got to say we are not 100% sure this is the actual date of his Hilula. If anyone happens to be related to him, or you know more information within regards to the great Chacham, please let me know. We're a community here. We're learning about the great Oriental rabbis of yesteryear. We've explored a few of the highlights of the great Chacham, Rabbi Yehudah Benevisti Z'tl. If you feel anyone's interested in watching these videos, share it to the other peoples, and please subscribe to the channel also. Wishing all blessings here from Israel, and take care, everyone.